Isaiah Thomas is throwing some shade at the Celtics, kind of. He's being honest. He doesn't think the Celtics got any better. His actual words regarding the deal executed by Celtics general manager Danny Ainge, Thomas wrote, "I don't agree with it, just personally. And I don't think the Boston Celtics got better by making this trade. But that's not my job, that's Danny's, and it's a tough job, and he's been really good at it. But at the end of the day, these deals just come down to one thing." And he's right, business. So it's not hard feelings at the end. I'm a grown man, and I know that I got into what I joined. I know what I got into when I joined this league, and so far it's been more blessings than curses. I'm not sitting here writing this because I feel I was wronged. I wasn't wrong. It was Boston's right to trade me. So I'd say very mature words overall from Isaiah Thomas, who, just talking with Craig, one of our guys right here before the shoot, he's Isaiah Thomas. You want to talk about likability, just appeal. Like, you can relate to Isaiah Thomas because he's not 6'7". He wasn't born LeBron James. As some people would say, you win the gene pool. You're born LeBron James. You're born on third base. We're totally disregarding everything else that happened to LeBron James. Before I get sidetracked, though, back to Isaiah Thomas. I think that the Celtics got what they wanted. And we won't know how much better or worse they are until we see it. What we do know for the Cavs is that they have to, in one way or another, prepare for when LeBron leaves. Because this is the what-if situation. What if LeBron leaves next year? Well, then you got to pick, and that pick right now doesn't help you win a championship. That pick helps you possibly contend in a few years. But if that pick does become a lucrative pick, and Brooklyn is that bad, well, you're looking at a Michael Porter Jr. as a potential target, and there's a lot of talk about guys like that. There's also 2 players going into Duke this year who are likely top 10, and there's also Zion Williamson, who's the second coming of Vince Carter, but don't just be blown away by his dunks. His game is not as complete as some of the other guys that are coming out, but he will be one of the most fun prospects to see. So the Cavs' options almost a year away from next year's draft will all come down to what happens in next year's postseason. Because what's the worst the Cavs are going to be with LeBron James? The 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. And what's the worst case scenario that the Cavs are going to be looking at without Kyrie Irving and a LeBron team surrounded by Isaiah, Jae Crowder, Ante Zizic, which was some reason named the Big Z, which is offensive to Zydrunas Ilgauskas, and there should be some civil lawsuit filed because there's only one Big Z. There will only ever be one Big Z. It's like there being another Shaq coming around, them calling him, oh, it's Shaq. It's the big Shaqness. It's the whatever his name is, the big Aristotle, and they started taking all Shaq's names. You can't do that, regardless. In the Celtics case, though, well, that's a team that's going to be around for 5, 6, 7 years. And when we see, hopefully, the Warriors not win the next 5 NBA titles, and the eventual movement of LeBron James, and the eventual fall off of LeBron James, because it's got to happen at some point. It's going to be 33, 36, 37, 38. At some point, it has to happen. He has to be mortal at some point. Therefore, when the Celtics case, you're going to be competing for a long time. A lot of people say, oh, you gave up the defense. I was a quick one to say that, too. Avery Bradley gone. That's a major problem. Avery Bradley, they said, 30% of the earth is covered by land and the rest is covered by Avery Bradley. Is that it? 30%? Is it 30%? This flat earth is covered mostly by Avery Bradley. And then, of course, you're getting rid of Jae Crowder, who's a fundamental defensive player who also has a pretty good mid-range, all-around game. Like, it's a lot to like about Jae Crowder. However, when you actually look at the numbers themselves, the Cavs had like one of the best offenses in the Eastern Conference and one of the worst defenses in the Eastern Conference, and they made the finals. Because, again, we still undersell how important LeBron James is to any single team. So if the Celtics are curbing their defense for offense, sure, I want to see them compete with LeBron James. And I can't call them Cleveland because they've changed so much and all these things. And there's another thing to keep in mind about this trade that we're still talking about so many days later. Kyrie Irving's never had in his professional NBA career a good coach, a coach that was in any which way creative, unique, was drawing up different play styles. He never had a Greg Popovich. He's never had even a Dave. I'll give Dave Yorger a lot of credit when he was on Memphis Grizzlies, but Dave Yorger, he's not Terry Stotts. And I'm talking about the creative minds, even the Steve Kerrs of the world. He now has Brad Stevens, who I've been this high on since he came out of Butler, because he is this Theo Epstein-esque analytics nerd who will draw up these complex plays that the team will follow, and it's going to help Kyrie Irving's offensive game. But we do know a couple other things. Kyrie Irving is not necessarily a passer. He's going to have to include that element into his game if he's on the Celtics. He needs to become better at getting eyes all around his head, because we know he's going to finish in physical ways that aren't possible. We know he's got that dimension-breaking way of reaching the rim and finishing. Angles we haven't seen before. That we've always known. Offensively in the clutch, he's got to step up on the defensive end. He is like the 8th worst defensive guard in the league. He's got to step that up. But we need to pump the brakes on who won and lost this trade until we see what happened. It's easy to do those takeaways. I've done my who won, who lost, and why. Rick's done it. But you look a couple weeks later and you go, man, we just need the NBA season to start. But until then, football's back. So, football. We got like 6 weeks of football, and then my season begins again. And I can start looking at what Isaiah Thomas looks like as IT3. Just anything that rhymes with 3, right? T3, P3, CP3. VC3, Vince Carter, when he was on the Brooklyn on the New Jersey Nets, and he'd hit a three-pointer. They'd call him VC3 after the three-pointer. So that makes sense. Kyrie Irving's cover of NBA 2K has also changed to the Boston Celtics, and then way more importantly, because I think Kyrie makes one of the best shoes out there, the Kyrie 4 is potentially leaked, potentially on purpose, during the shoot of the Uncle Drew movie, where he was wearing them, white and black with the gum shark teeth type of thing. They're awesome. I want a pair. I'll be grabbing them the second they come out. I've actually wanted a pair of shoes that bad since I saw the Kyrie 4s, and they are here. If that is them. If that's some Nike ID shit, I'll be pissed at Kyrie Irving. Walk on the flat earth over to the store because there's no hills to get to the store. I'm joking about the flat earth thing. Of course I know it's round. Like, just look at the satellite images of the hurricane. Duh. Comment below.